I'm Dr. Jeff Nickel. This is Tony. He's 10 years old, been part of the Nickel family since he was just a baby. And we really love this cat. He's mighty special to us. In fact, he's sort of like a little person in a furry suit in this family. But we also know that he's actually a cat. And that's important because behaviorally there's some really big differences that can cause trouble for these guys. You know, in the wild, they survive on other creatures, helpless little rodents that they find and kill and have for dinner. But not only are they predators, they're also a prey species. And what that means is that they can be lunch for somebody much bigger than they are. And they know that if they show their weakness, they're an easy mark. And they're not a highly social species, these cats. Unlike dogs and people, they don't cry out to their comrades for help if they're sick or injured. Instead, they lie low and get small. Well, they have that same innate behavior in our families. And so when your pet cat isn't feeling up to speed, he might just not say much and kind of stay out of sight. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss it. Here's what happened to this little guy about a week ago. One of my sons came to me with him, and Tony had this fuzzy junk sticking out of his mouth, kind of hooked on one of his teeth. So I teased that loose and got rid of it and started watching this little fellow very carefully, and his behavior didn't change much. But later that day, he didn't eat as much as normal, and the next day his appetite was way down. In fact, all he did was push the food around in the bowl a little bit. So I packed him off to the veterinary hospital where I see my cases, and we got x-rays. And he had a stomach full, but I knew it wasn't food because he hadn't eaten hardly anything. So he went right to surgery. And, you know, I'm familiar with the saying that a lawyer who represents himself as a fool for a client. Well, this veterinarian doesn't do surgery on his own pets. So I had a surgery specialist handle it, and when she finished, she presented me with a Ziploc bag that was full of a whole bunch of this fuzzy stuff that looked a whole lot like that junk we found in this little kitty's mouth just a couple days earlier. So next day we brought Tony home. He's done very well, as you can see. And after the family greeted him with great relief, my son disappeared into the other room and came back just a couple minutes later with this. He'd found that, yeah, Tony had enjoyed this toy, hadn't he? He'd enjoyed it right down to the nub. Well, that sort of solved that mystery, and to make it easy to understand for purposes of this video, we went off to the pet supply store and we bought an original copy of it. You know, it's one of these hunt and pounce toys that cats really enjoy playing with, gets their attention. But this particular kitty found it a little too appetizing. You know, the bottom line with that, of course, is if you're going to enjoy these stalk and pounce toys with your cat, be sure that, you know, you put it away when you're done, because they will get into trouble with that sort of stuff sometimes. Swallowed linear foreign material, you know, like yarn, ribbon, or dental floss, can saw holes in the intestinal wall, leading to septic peritonitis. We can protect these little guys by cat-proofing the house. Keep an eye out for innocent but potentially harmful household items. But the bigger message is that you watch your cats like a hawk. They don't tell you when they're sick or hurt. And they don't have 9 lives. Our job as their caretakers, as their pet parents, is to look out for them, because if we assume too much, then by the time you recognize a problem, well, in Tony's case, all that junk could have moved down into his intestines and caused a blockage, which could have been a really dangerous problem. So I encourage people to pester their veterinarian. You call, you bring that cat in if you're at all concerned. I would always prefer to tell my pet owners that, hey, this situation's okay. Let me explain it to you, not to worry, because we really, really have an opportunity to save a life when people come in early. So do what it takes. Watch carefully. Your cat does not have 9 lives. She has just 1, and that needs to be a long and generous life with you at home. So, if you found this information valuable, I invite you to share this little video vignette with your cat-loving friends. This is Tony, and I'm Dr. Jeff Nickel.